And hey, big shout out, all right? Big shout out to all of my friends over at the Curtain Call Podcast, the #1 pro wrestling podcast of all time, all right? Once again, big shout out to the Curtain Call Podcast, the #1 podcast of all time.
All right.
My. Who can argue when the Prince is telling you you're watching the best wrestling podcast there is? What's going on, everybody? I'm your boy, the Spanish Lion. Always with me is my tag team partner, Nacho. What it do, baby? Tell them what's going on.
Boy, it's been a long time, but I am sure happy to be back. We have missed out on some things we got to catch up on. We've been staying active on the Twitter, but let's get into some of these topics that have been coming out.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And before we jump into it, we need to do how we always started off. Nacho, do you know what time it is?
It's trivia time.
It's trivia time. We're going to go back to 2017. We got a 2-for-1 today. We're going to go back to 2017. 2017 WWE SmackDown brand. Remember back then when they had the brand split, you had your SmackDown pay-per-views and you had your Raw pay-per-views. So this was back in 2017 on a SmackDown pay-per-view presented Backlash from Chicago in the Allstate Arena. The main event saw the most surprising champion in WWE crowned when this man won the title away from Randy Orton. Nacho, who is that man?
What title was it?
It was the World Championship. WWE World Championship.
Had this championship been won by? Oh no, that was Randy.
Randy Orton was the one that lost it. This man won it, which was very surprising to everyone who was watching that Backlash pay-per-view.
I'm running a blank on this one. You're gonna have to tell me this one. I don't think I'm. Oh, we have a guess. We have a guess. We have a guess. Somebody said John Cena.
John Cena. No, I'm sorry, Chase. It's not John Cena. We'll give you 20 more seconds. Come on, anybody. I'll give you guys a hint. This person has been recently released by the WWE. Come on, Chase. I know you're watching. You got to give us one more. Recently released by the WWE. And outside of winning this title, there isn't much that he's done at all. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nacho, the man who beat Randy Orton for the WWE World Championship back on 2017 Backlash, live from the Allstate Center in Chicago, Illinois, is none other than the modern-day Maharaja Jinder Mahal. Back in 2017, on this day, he beat world champion Randy Orton to become the world champion. They were getting ready for that India tour, and he held the title for a long time until he lost it at a house show to the phenomenal one, AJ Styles. But that's not the only one that we are going to do today. Like I said, we are doing this 2-for-1 today. And because we weren't on the 19th, we're going to go to the 19th. And the 19th is very special. A lot of people don't like it. A lot of people do like it. But I just want to read it to you guys if I can. It happened back in 1996. Nacho, remind me, how old were you in 1996?
I was -4.
-4. There you go. And I remember this day like if it was literally yesterday. because it changed the trajectory of wrestling forever. Didn't hinder the gender. That's right. Don't hinder the gender. Anyway, so here we go. Nacho, you ready for this, man? I think you're gonna like this one. I think you're gonna like this one. It's not more or less a trivia as far as what happened on this day. Okay, so I'm not gonna ask you. I'll probably ask you something, but it's more or less, what on this day happened. So on May 19th, 1996, a memorable WWF. It was WWF then. House show took place in Madison Square Garden, New York City, in front of 18,000 fans. At that time, it was a record-breaking crowd for a house show. At this house show, we saw the Godwins. They defeated the Body Donnas to become the WWF Tag Team Champions. Big Van Vader defeated Yokozuna. Hunter Hearst Helmsley pinned Razor Ramon, and Shawn Michaels retained his championship against Diesel in a steel cage match in the main event. It marked the last appearance that both Scott Hall, which is Razor Ramon, Kevin Nash, which is Diesel, it marked the last time that both these men will be seen in the WWF/WWE for 8 years, because they left the company to go to the rival company, WCW. The house show most notable for the event that took place at the conclusion of the main event in the steel cage match. What do you think that could have been? At the end of that steel cage match, that house show is known for something.
I don't know. I was just watching something about this too, because I was watching something about them shifting over. Hit me.
All right, so here it is. So at the conclusion of the main event in the steel cage match, both Shawn Michaels and Diesel embraced each other at the end of the contest. They were later on joined by Razor Ramon and Hunter Hearst Helmsley, who came into the cage and embraced each other in front of the live crowd, turning what's called breaking the kayfabe illusion of heels versus babyface. The event has become known as the curtain call, and it turned and exposed the scripted and the predetermined nature of the wrestling business. The curtain call directly or indirectly triggered the wrestling business to change in a direction where the creative and television, and helped usher each other the booming period of wrestling business in the late 90s. Throughout the early 90s, they had little feuds of characters. Later on, these characters became more reality-based and reflecting on the changing of the attitude in the society's viewpoint towards the wrestling industry, known as the Attitude Era. So on the 19th, celebrated the Curtain Call back in 1996. That's where the name of this show came from, the Curtain Call podcast. And it ushered in the Attitude Era. Once that happened, Nacho, that's when everybody knew, wait a minute, you mean to tell me this is predetermined? And if it had not been for that, who knows what wrestling would have been at today? We'll probably still have characters like the trash can guy or the hockey mask dude, or all kind of crazy, silly gimmicks, the shock master and stuff like that. But because this curtain call happened, breaking that wall, breaking that barrier, showing kayfabe and breaking kayfabe, we got the Attitude Era. Of course, the Attitude Era led us into the Ruthless Aggression Era, which led us to the PG era, which led us to arguably probably the greatest era in wrestling that's going on right now, if you go by the dollar sign. So that was it. Nacho, man, I'm ready to do this. I'm ready to have fun with this show, man. Let's get to it, man. It's all yours with the first topic.
All right. To get into this, we are going to be talking about King and Queen of the Ring, the upcoming pay-per-view live from Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, this Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I can't wait for this show, although I feel like some of the matches aren't as hyped up as they could have been. I guess that does leave some of the hype on the actual King and Queen matches, which is good. But we'll get into that as we go through these matches. Before we start on anything, is there anything you want to say about the overall event coming up?
No, I'll say that for the end of my overall thought on the event.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm ready to roll.
All right, starting off, we are going to be talking about Becky Lynch versus Liv Morgan for the Women's Championship. How do you feel going into this match?
I think this is going to be a good match. I like the story that they're playing with, but I'm more intrigued with the storyline of Liv and the Judgment Day.
Mm-hmm.
Running around with Dom, getting out the car with Finn. It looks like she's coming to take everything that Mommy has. So it's kind of interesting where they're going with that. It makes you think by the time Rhea gets back, is Liv going to be your champion? I feel like she is going to be the champion, but I don't think it's happening in Jeddah. I think that Becky Lynch retains this title.
Okay. I feel the same way. I haven't liked the promos they've been doing where each time Becky comes out to say anything, it's just that Liv Morgan interrupts her and it either ends up with another woman coming out interrupting them and that leads into the next match for no reason. I think that they could have done something to mix up the promos a little bit just to make it a little bit more interesting for both sides. Overall, I don't see Liv Morgan taking the title right now if she ends up taking the title because honestly, with the feud with Rhea, if you really want her to take everything from Rhea, she could have the title, but I feel like that is still a feud that could live on its own without the actual title involved. But yeah, definitely seeing Liv coming out of walking through the back room with Dom and then having his handkerchief, and then on Monday coming out of the same car that Finn Balor came out of. Something's going on, and it seems like Damien's not in the loop because he was asking Dom about Mommy backstage before they got interrupted too. So I'm curious to see where this goes, but I'm definitely in agreement with you on this match. I think we lost your voice on here. We can't hear you, Spanish Fly. Spanish Fly has had his voice taken away. While this is happening, we still can't hear you, Spanish Fly. Yeah, let me try this. Chase says, let's see. I love Becky having the belt, but I feel like Liv needs to have the belt when Mommy gets back. I don't know what's going on. We still can't hear you, Spanish Fly. Oh. All right. Going off of Chase's comment while we get this figured out. I agree. I like Becky having the belt, but I feel like if they really want to have Liv take everything from Mommy, they need to have her win the belt eventually. Spanish Fly, are you back with us?
I'm back. Can you hear me?
Okay. I can hear you now.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I like what Chase said there. I love Becky having the belt, but I feel like Liv needs to have the belt when Mommy gets back. Nacho, I agree with him, man. 100%. I agree with him. I think that the storyline there, to me, Becky doesn't need the belt. Becky is that over. She's the man. It's like Charlotte. Charlotte Flair doesn't need the belt. I just feel that Liv needs to have that title, but I do not think that it's happening. I don't think it's happening over there.
Yeah.
Parker, mommy being gone is killing me. I feel you, man. I feel you. I
Chase
also think it'd be cool if Diamond Finn JD showed up to cause some uproar during Liv's match. It's true. So by doing that, does Becky drop the belt if Dom and Finn get involved, or does Dom and Finn start fighting because they're trying to win over Liv? I mean, there's so many ways they can go with this, but I believe that we're going to start. Something's going to happen over there, which will be the start of Liv finally getting that title. But as far as her beating Becky, I don't see it happening at the King and Queen of the Ring.
I think they could do something interesting with Damian even in the storyline if they have Finn and JD and Dom all wanting Liv. If Damian was the one who was checking on Dom, asking if everything was cool with Rhea, he might be left out. And especially if he ends up losing his title, maybe at Clash of Berlin, or is that what it's called?
The Clash of Berlin or something. Yeah, something like
maybe
that.
if he loses his title there, he'll drift away from the Judgment Day even more. And we could have Damian not wanting to be involved if they're going against Mommy. They could play this out in a bunch of different ways, but yeah, I mean, they haven't really done much with Becky being the belt holder just because of the promos. So
yeah,
I definitely agree with everything everyone's saying.
Yep. What's the next topic, man?
Next up, we are going to be talking about Cody Rhodes versus Logan Paul, not for both belts, not for both titles, but just for the undisputed WWE Championship. I'm gonna be honest. I was a little bit let down that Logan had to do his little shenanigan and make it where it was only for Cody's title, because I would have really liked to see Cody become a Grand Slam champion possibly, but I'll get into it more towards the end what I think is going to end up happening with Logan after what we saw. But what do you think is happening in this match?
Well, Nacho, I got to go completely opposite of how you were feeling. When I first heard Cody, when Logan came out and they announced him as the challenger, and Cody said, now's the opportunity where I could become that Grand Slam champion, I was instantly yelling at the top of my head. I did not want to see that. I don't want to see Cody with two belts. I don't. Why? Because if Cody has both belts, it kind of hijacks one of the titles, which will be the United States title. So that means eventually he's going to have to lose that title, which now somebody can say, hey, I beat the champion. I beat the WWE champ, even though I got the United States title. Or he has to relinquish the title, which I hate when wrestlers relinquish titles because it makes me feel like the belt doesn't mean anything. So I'm really, 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 really happy. Is Cody going to be a Grand Slam champion? Absolutely. Cody will be a Grand Slam champion before his career is said and done with. But I think right now, Cody just needs to be holding on to this title and fighting at the pay-per-views and defending that title more than Roman Reigns to make this championship run mean so much more. Now, whoever here thinks that Logan Paul is going to be Cody Rhodes is out of their mind. They're out of their mind if they think that Cody's dropping this belt to Logan Paul. It's not going to happen. Not going to happen. So there's nothing for me to even comment anymore about, because to me, this is just the same way when Logan fought Roman. No one thought Logan was going to beat Roman, but if you notice, it happened overseas as well. It gives them a star like Roman, the champion. It gives them a star like Cody, the champion. And it gives them an internet star like Logan Paul, just like it's doing now. So, no, he's not going to win the title. There's nothing to even think about.
Do you think we could be seeing an appearance from his brother? Because didn't his brother show up at one of the previous Saudi shows?
His brother did show up at a previous Saudi show. The reason why I don't really see it happening, and I could be completely off of this, is because when these boxers are under contract, there is no way they can get involved in any kind of physical altercation or anything like that. Because if something is to happen, there's millions of dollars on the line for Jake Paul fighting Mike Tyson. If he shows up, it'll probably be just to be seen. But as far as showing up and maybe getting involved somehow or doing something, I don't see it happening. One mistake can cost Jake millions, could cost the promoters for that boxing event millions of dollars. And I don't see it happening.
Yeah, I feel like if he shows up, the most they would have him do if he does get involved is like maybe hand Logan the brass knuckles that he would use.
Yeah.
Just on the side. That's like the closest. But I'm gonna have to, what I was alluding to earlier, I'm gonna have to pull up Parker's comment here because we saw LA Knight have a face off with Logan Paul backstage on SmackDown. And
Of course. Yeah.
That's what we want at SummerSlam. Logan Paul versus LA Knight. LA Knight's gonna take that title from him. We just gotta wait on it.
I think it's definitely a give me him at SummerSlam. I really do. I think SummerSlam will be the best moment to go ahead and hand that title over. Even though they're in Cleveland, even though Logan Paul's that hometown kid, it doesn't mean anything. As many years as we know, as many years as we've been watching wrestling, we always know that usually when you go into your city, very rarely do you come out the victor. So I think at the end of the night, Cleveland's going to be yelling, yeah. That crowd is going to be hyped. But yeah, I think Logan drops the belt to him at SummerSlam. But as far as King and Queen of the Ring in Jeddah, not going to happen. Cody Rhodes is still your WWE champ. What's next?
Next up, we have a match that I'm actually pretty excited for.
I like this.
Because if y'all know anything about me, you know that I'm a big fan of all three of these guys. So the fact that we have Sami Zayn versus Chad Gable versus Bronson Reed in a triple threat for the Intercontinental Championship, I'm all in.
Pause. Because I know you love these three guys very much, I'm going to do this. You have Big Bronson Reed. You have a new attitude of Chad Gable. And you have your champion, Sami Zayn. Triple threat. The champion has the disadvantage. He could lose the title without even getting pinned or submitted.
He could.
So, Nacho, on Saturday, who are you rooting for? Who do you want to come out victorious in this match? Whoa!
Big Bronson Reed. I have this all mapped out for myself.
Over Gable?
Okay. Over Gable.
I really thought you were going to say Gable.
Gable needs to learn a lesson, okay?
Okay. Talk to me.
Okay. My thinking is Sammy has been roped into this feud from Gable versus Gunther now to Gable versus Sammy. Gable wants this belt. Sammy's roped in. His whole title reign has been sucked into this feud with Chad. Bronson has kept his eyes on the prize this entire time. He shows up. He does work. He gets his match done. No drama. So I think that this feud between Sammy and Chad is going to cost them the title, and it's going to give it to Bronson. Not to mention the fact that Chad, his number one guy, is going to be there, and Chad believes that Otis is going to be there helping him because of the fact that he apologized to Sammy to maybe let Sammy drop his guard. I think that Otis is at least going to cost Chad the match, and this is going to be where Otis is at least Otis is separated from Chad in the Alpha Academy. I'm thinking at this point, if this plays out the way I'm thinking, you give Bronson his own little title run. He gets to defend his championship, well earned. And you keep this feud between Chad and Sammy going, where they're still roped up in this feud without even the title. And this is where you have the Alpha Academy leaving Chad, maybe going to Sammy just for a little bit, or at least moving on with Sammy's guidance. And that's where Chad ultimately brings in the Creed brothers. And that's where you have team versus team, maybe not with Sami Zayn involved still, but you have team versus team in the new Alpha Academy versus Otis, Tozawa, maybe Sammy, and you could even have Maxine and Ivy Nile turn on each other, and you have these two groups. That's what I've been thinking about since Monday night when we saw Chad talking to the Creed brothers and Otis ultimately getting smacked for the second time. Especially when I saw Chad walk out in this get-up, this little robe on. I don't know. I think this is going to be Bronson's time to shine. I think Chad has the least chance to win the title, at least.
So, Chase says this will be the best match of the day. I completely agree with you to a certain extent. Upset alert, Bronson is grabbing the belt. So what do you do with Brunson? So what's going on? What's Chase saying? Otis is going to be there at the show. Who the real Alpha Academy leader is? Okay, so Chase, Nacho, tell me, SummerSlam. If Bronson Reed wins this title, what are these three guys doing at SummerSlam? I'm not saying that they're going to fight each other at SummerSlam. What are they doing at SummerSlam individually?
If Bronson wins the title, I don't think if he has a match at SummerSlam, it will involve either of these guys. Because I think that Chad and Sammy losing this belt is going to distance them from the belt for a minute because they're going to go head to head as Chad forms this new Alpha Academy group and Sammy pulls the rest of Alpha Academy away from him. I think this feud is going to go titleless for just a minute, and then it's going to, whatever way it pans out, then Chad is going to gun it for that title.
So, okay, let's see.
Parker says Bronson versus Ricochet.
At SummerSlam?
They're building,
Parker because I'm trying to get to a point here. Parker, are you saying that's at SummerSlam and who wins?
Because I think they're building up Ricochet to go against Braun now.
Yeah, that's by the spear that he took. I would assume that's what they're going with, and it doesn't look like Ricochet is going to come out of this feud victorious because they're not gonna put. So here's what I'm trying to get at. What I'm trying to get at is if you give Bronson the title, he's got to have a match at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's the Intercontinental title, and it's one of the 4 major pay-per-views of the year. So he's going to have a match. That means you're not going to take the title off of him at SummerSlam, whoever it is, right? Okay, so that basically Sami Zayn's title run after beating the longest reigning champion, Intercontinental champion of all time, over 600 days, comes down to a matter of two months, if that. 2 months. That's
Maybe.
Disappointing.
Yeah. Think about how long was their reign after they beat the Usos?
About four months or so, right? 3 months, 3 or 4 months. Well, yeah, it was about the same.
But think about this. One thing that's making me think that Sammy is going to retain is the Saudi crowd. Are they going to have Sammy lose to the Saudi crowd? Also, if Sammy retains, yes, he would go on to continue feuding with Chad. But where does Bronson go if Sammy retains? Do they just rerun this match at SummerSlam? Because I don't see Bronson going for any other belts.
I'm looking something up real quick. I want to be able to, because you made an interesting point, and I just want to make sure.
Parker says it would make more sense for Chad to win for story reasons.
Parker said what?
It makes more sense for Chad to win for story reasons because of the heel turn. It would be okay. Here's something that just popped in my head. It would be interesting if Chad has thought ahead and he knows Otis won't help him, and he brings the Creed brothers with him. There's so much stuff that could happen in this match.
I'm trying to check something out here because you made a comment about the where they're at, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so we know that I could be completely man, I don't even want to go down that hole.
I have a question for you.
He's Syrian descent and they're in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
That's,
you remember the pop he got last year though, when they were the tag champions.
That was in Riyadh though, right?
I don't know.
That was in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, right?
Maybe, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so
I think he retains.
Okay.
I don't know. I think he retains though.
So, with your knowledge of past wrestling, when Angle formed his group, that is what everybody's comparing this Chad Gable Creed Brothers group to. What did he create that for? Like, was it when he was already champion, or was it after something?
If I'm not mistaken, when Kurt Angle created that group, he became champion and they became tag team champions.
Okay.
I just don't see Chad winning the title right now.
No.
I don't. And even though, yes, it's the storyline that they're going with, I think there's right now the storyline of him and Alpha Academy has overtaken the storyline of him and the title.
Yeah.
Because he's so disappointed with Alpha Academy and now running into the Creed brothers and making them laugh and telling them things about wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I don't see it happening.
Mm-hmm.
I could see Brunson winning the title, but I don't think Sammy drops it.
Okay.
But if he does drop it, I agree with you. I think it could be Brunson.
Yeah.
That's a head scratcher.
It's definitely there's a bunch of paths this match could take.
Yeah. Because my concern is, what do you do with Brunson afterwards? There's no other feud that he's been linked to.
It would have to be a big guy, and Ivar's out.
If Ivar's out,
you didn't bring back Braun.
You got Braun, yeah, but you don't know what's going on with Uncle Howdy.
That's true.
What's the next one, man?
All right, next up, we are going to talk about King and Queen of the Ring because we have had quite the tournament going on
Yes,
Raw
yes,
and
yes.
SmackDown.
Yes.
So, to start off, in the women's division on Raw, we have Lyra Valkyria in first, or I guess in the finals. So she will be one of the people fighting on Saturday
Yep.
against either Bianca Belair or Nia Jax. We'll find out this Friday on SmackDown which of these two women will be fighting Lyra Valkyria. Who do you think is coming out on top in this matchup between Belair and Jax?
Nia Jax. I don't know if it's just me, but Nia Jax this go around, she's performing a lot better.
Mm.
Before she was released, man, my goodness. But since she's come back, she has performed a lot better. Excuse me. I love the way WWE has saved her from taking any big L's, where they've really protected her, the gimmick that she's running with. I think there is a story to be made with Belair and her tag team partner right now, Jade Cargill. I think the knee, Belair's knee, where she hurt last week, I think that'll come into play.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think that Nia Jax is just gonna go in there, have a wrestling match, and pin her 1, 2, 3. I think Nia Jax is gonna win due to the little shenanigans that she won last week. Maybe a disqualification. Maybe Jade gets involved, costs Belair Bianca the match, which starts the rumbling of the feud between the two, where eventually I've always said I think that Bianca turns heel. But I think Nia comes out on Friday. I think she's going on to the Queen of the Ring.
Okay. I think I agree with you. Do you want to do your Queen of the Ring now, or do you want to do it after the men's?
No, let's go ahead and do it now.
Okay.
Valkyria, I think she wins Queen of the Ring.
Interesting. I'm gonna go against you on this one. I have not been the biggest fan of Nia Jax recently since her return. I'm gonna be honest. I thought she was kind of annoying, but I think earning Queen of the Ring, if I'm not mistaken, this doesn't give you anything, does it?
No, it doesn't. I mean, you get bragging rights for a whole year.
Yeah. Okay.
But Nacho, you're not wrong. I mean, it could definitely help her. Yeah.
I think her having this queen, she could be like the evil mad queen. I think that would be kind of fun. It would give her
annoying as hell.
It would be, but I think that would at least amplify her character a little bit for me, because it would play into more of a character than just this person who always shows up and interrupts these matches. I would actually like that. I think that it would be really awesome for Lyra Valkyria to win, but she just got drafted. I think that would be a mega push for her.
Yeah,
so
that's
I gotta
true.
stick with Jax. I'm gonna stick with Jax on that one.
And here's the thing: I'm going against my own belief, because I've always felt that whoever the king or the queen of the ring is, it should be a heel. Why? Yeah. Because it's such a heelish move to say, I'm the king of this ring. I am the queen of this ring. So it should be a bad person. If you look at from the start of King of the Rings, they were bad guys. There were bad guys that did it. Owen Hart, Stone Cold Steve Austin. These were bad guys. Macho Man, he was a heel. So I'm King Haku. So I've never been a fan of a babyface being the king or queen of the ring. I said Valkyria because I believe it almost feels like they're trying to push her, and that'll be the start of something. I see something with her and Becky Lynch brewing.
Yeah.
When Becky spoke to her backstage and told her, hey, you get out there, do your thing. And she looked at her and said, Becky, I got this. It was like, but I don't think you're wrong in thinking Nia can win, because I completely agree with you as well. I think it very well could be Nia, and that's probably the better pick. If I had to actually put money on it, I'll back you up and say Nia. But it's heelish to see her be the queen. Man, that'll be so annoying because we know that she can be annoying in her promos. So it might be a good thing.
Hey,
you've probably convinced me to think otherwise. So I like.
This is a new era though, so
Yeah.
we don't know what to expect. It could be, I don't know. But
What's next?
Getting into the next one, we're gonna go straight into King of the Ring. We've had quite the bracket in this side of the roster as well. Starting on Monday, we had Gunther taking the Raw spot after choking out Jey Uso. I'm not the biggest fan of those, but oh well. It was still a good match. Jey, he looked bashed. His tattoo, the lines where it wasn't filled in, it looked like a colored tattoo mixed with the actual tattoo because his chest was so red and purple. That was nuts. But I'm happy for Gunther. I think this is something interesting, and it makes that heel versus face choice a little bit more difficult with who is going to end up winning on Friday, because if there's been lots of talk that now that Gunther has dropped the belt, is he going to stay heel or is he going to turn face going for the world, like a world title in the future? But depending on who wins on Friday, that's going to tell which way he's going, I feel like, because you're either going to have a heel or a slightly heelish face facing off against Gunther. So honestly, I don't see Tama Tonga winning Friday unless he has help. So I think to be safe, I'm going to say Randy for Friday. I feel like I'm making the wrong choice, but I'm going to say Randy to be safe for the Friday matchup.
I'm going to say Randy Orton as well, but I don't think, and the reason why I said Randy is because I don't think the Bloodline's out to win matches as they are to hurt people. I think they want to hurt people. And I don't think that they care about right now if we win or lose. We're going out there and we're going to make a statement. But I see Randy coming out of this as champion as well. Don't feed Tonga after midnight. That's right. Hey, man, I saw the funniest thing. I'm sorry, I got to say this. I saw the funniest thing when somebody posted on X. They said, I think WWE found a way to keep Tama Tonga from cussing in all his promos. And they showed the video of him going, yeah. And I thought that was hilarious because whoever knows New Japan and has watched Tama Tonga in New Japan knows that every promo he is in, he drops so many F-bombs. And it is the most hilarious thing because that's the way he does his promo. And for somebody to put, I think WWE found a way to keep Tama Tonga from dropping, swear words in his promos. I thought that was hilarious. But back to it. Yes, I agree. Randy Orton goes on to Jeddah.
Honestly, between the two of these guys, no matter who ends up facing Gunther, I feel like Gunther is going to end up winning King of the Ring overall. I don't know how you're feeling about it, but I feel like Gunther has earned his spot on the throne at this point.
To me, it's definitely Gunther. I mean, can you really hear Randy Orton saying he's the King of the Ring? Do you really think he cares? Maybe. No, it doesn't even sound right. But
he could have that crown on doing his. I don't know. I think it fits more of the Gunther persona, though.
Oh
Is
yeah, for him to be able to say, not only am I the ring general, but I am the king of this ring, this
Mhm.
sacred mat. I think, yeah, man, I'm all for him being king of the ring, and I agree with you,
Yep,
100%. I think Gunther is crowned, and speaking of crowns, those crowns look so good,
they do.
so good. Um, I'm excited to see. But you know what? I know we talked about the match of the night being that triple threat. Um, Randy versus Gunther could be a show stealer.
Definitely.
Randy has said in interviews before he hates to be chopped. And
Hmm.
I would love to see his reaction when Gunther puts them big old baseball mitts on his chest. I think, and by the way, how amazing is Randy Orton? He's so good, man. Dude is so
So good.
good. He's so good. Everybody, people that knock him, look, man, don't take him for granted. Enjoy this time because we don't know how many more years he's going to be wrestling. But man, Randy Orton is so good, so good.
Seriously. He said that
One
all
day,
his doctors advised him not to return, and he still did.
yeah. One day, Nacho, me and you are gonna have to do our goats and our Mount Rushmores. But
Hmm.
to me, I'll give you a hint on something. To me, there's different levels of Mount Rushmore for different eras. Randy Orton's got to be someone that should be considered up there. Otis, Otis.
I was just on my Mount Rushmore.
Oh Lord, what's next,
Oh
man?
yeah. Next up, so that's going to close off our King of the Ring and Queen of the Ring predictions. Those were our
Yes,
predictions
yes.
for the show. If there are any other matches maybe dropped on Friday, or maybe like a pre-show match, we'll drop our predictions on our socials, and we will also be live tweeting both on SmackDown and during the event. So be sure to follow us on the Twitter and on Instagram and TikTok, so you
Yes,
can
yes,
see
yes.
everything that we've been posting. But getting into the next topic, we have been getting some more clues, some QR codes from the man Uncle Howdy. Uncle Howdy has come back, is coming back,
Yes,
and
yes, yes.
we're getting more and more clues as the days come. There were new ones today. So let's get into a bit of a recap of the QR codes from Monday Night Raw.
Take it
Monday Night
away.
Raw, Monday Night Raw, if you scan the QR code that dropped like right before they went to commercial during the Alpha Academy promo, there was a questionnaire that you got. If you went through the questionnaire, it gave you a list of all these different tabs that you could choose. And one of the tabs was this word puzzle, similar to one that we got a couple weeks ago. And if you crack the code with the numbers and letters, it spells out a puppet is free as long as he loves his strings.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about this? Because I remember I texted you and I was like, I don't fully understand this. And you seemed a little more code cracking on this one than I did.
Yeah, I love to read, man. So I know I've heard that before. So I thank God for the device called Google. And I Googled it, found the author. It's from a book. It's from a person who is very well known as very controversial in their writings. So to be quoting that, I thought it was pretty amazing. I thought it was really cool. But yeah, man, them those puppet strings, and I'm gonna tell you exactly what I have here because I made sure that I wrote something down. Give me 1 second. He's it's like don't being people are being content as they're being pulled, and I think Uncle Howdy's coming with no strings attached, and I think this is going to be really fun. I'm loving this, man. I'm loving this QR code
Oh, yeah.
stuff.
I kind of hope it
Yeah,
doesn't end once he does make his appearance. I'd love for more stuff to drop this way.
yeah.
Um, Next up, we got this article that featured the image that we had gotten in one of the first QR codes.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know if you have anything to say about that. I just wanted to throw that in there.
No, go right ahead.
And then we got this image. It looked kind of like the image from the journals that were on the Twitch stream, the journal drawings and everything. And if you look in the bottom corner, there is a little like location. And if you type in the area on Google, it takes you to Rowan University. Someone who has definitely been rumored to be making a return in this group, Eric Rowan.
Mr. Red Beer himself.
Coincidence? I don't know, but Rowan University had a fun time with it, and they asked if WWE was planning to visit the campus. So that's a clue as to somebody we could be getting in this possible group of people who have been taken in and accepted. Next up, there were these strange audio bites that were coming through. And I didn't really think much of it. There's just been some weird audio in some of the videos that they've been playing. But somebody put this through a website that basically like analyzes the audio frequencies. And if you put these 3 audio clips through it, the first one spells out hello with a period, which is what a lot of these clues and QR code notes have been starting with. The second one had the Wyatt family symbol, very clear. And then the third one had Mr. Howdy himself looking through the screen back at you. So it seems as though he's closer than we thought.
Yeah.
He's coming through the audio at this point. So next up, we had this image, which was similar. It was a lot of scribbles, but it had a note that said WhatsApp 522, which is today. And this is where I'm going to hand it off to you because I don't know as much about this as you do because I kind of read about it. But yeah, I'm going to hand this one over to you.
So, shout out to my son, who right away, I was on the road and he came up and he was like, as soon as I got home, hey, I got this. And I was like, what was it? And he started showing me the pictures. If you see, it says, remember who you are, but down on the right side of the corner, right inside of the corner, it has a time stamp on it and it says 8 p.m. So it says 8 p.m. Then the next picture, it has, if you go to the next slide, oh, you have them there. Okay, so they're all up there.
Somebody layered them on there.
Yeah, you can layer them all. So
they listed like
the first one said 8 p.m. The second one said EST. The third one said S day. The fourth one said TCH. The fifth THUR. And the sixth one said TWI. And it had these glitches on there and stuff. And when you take one of them and you turn it upside down on the glitch, it says, we'll see you soon. And then it says, I can't wait to meet you. And what these things are, my son jotted them down, and it's basically this: 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Thursday on Twitch. So whatever's happening, the next, I guess you can say, clue, or the next time we will hear something from Uncle Howdy would be 8 p.m. Thursday on Twitch, which I'm excited for. WWE is doing something great, Nacho. They're making people who don't have a Twitch, who don't use WhatsApp, download Twitch and download WhatsApp. And I think that's brilliant marketing. First of all, that's brilliant marketing.
Definitely.
Second of all, it gets everyone talking and everyone excited. So are we going to see Uncle Howdy So we know he's going to do something Thursday. We know there's going to be a QR code Friday. Are we going to see him Saturday?
I don't know.
So Nahaliel says, I think he shows his face Thursday. Could very well be. Are we going to see him? Are we going to see him Saturday is the question. Because here's the issue. Do you show him out of the States as opposed to making his debut in the States? If you want to make his debut in the States, you're either going to make it at a Raw or SmackDown, which I don't think they're going to do. It's going to be a pay-per-view that they're going to do it at. The next pay-per-view is in Cleveland, Ohio. Is that too big? Outdoor stadium, you can't get away with the lighting and the smoke and it's not like it's a dome. If it was a dome, you can play around with those lightings and props and stuff. Would they waste the debut in Saudi Arabia? Which I don't think they would. But at this point, it says, we'll see you soon. What's going to happen Thursday? What's going to happen Friday? What QR code will we get on Saturday? Are we getting closer? Would it be a Raw? This is, and Nacho, do you remember when Bray Wyatt was doing these?
Oh,
before he
I saw clips of it. They had people walking through the crowd with signs that had the QR codes on it, and it would be on the microphone.
You see, look, Chase says that one of the QR codes was titled 22423, which is the postal code for Saudi. Can they be throwing a swerve at us? Can we see one of the family members show up?
That's what I'm thinking.
You can get one family member. That doesn't mean that was his debut. Maybe Eric is seen in the audience.
That's what I'm thinking.
Or in a backstage segment, he's walking by and from a distance and pauses for a second. And the screen glitches and he keeps walking.
Maybe. Bronson wins. And whoever from this group they're setting up to fight Bronson shows up.
Makes their debut.
And Uncle Howdy maybe teases that somebody will be there on the stream tomorrow. Tomorrow is also Bray Wyatt's birthday.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very interesting what's gonna transpire. But
I do think
anyway, if you back to the question, do you remember when Bray made his return, the White Rabbit, the QR codes that was happening?
Yeah.
Okay. This is I've never seen anything like that. It got me so excited because I knew Bray Wyatt is coming back. And you know how I feel about Bray.
Mm-hmm.
And I was so excited with the QR codes. Me and my sons, all the time they will pop up. We were scanning and we didn't know when the QR code was coming. And it was amazing. Then they started doing the QR code thing again. But this time it's 10 times better. And I'm glad because I don't want people to think in wrestling, we have a tendency of saying, oh, but we've already seen that. Oh, we've done that. Been there, done that. Not like this. This is good.
Yep.
How amazing is this storyline, Nacho, that even when we did our podcast talking about them, we had glitches in our system. Hello?
We had them today.
We had it today. This is so amazing. This is so amazing. And you know how wrestling, WWE always says, it's all about family.
Mm-hmm. Family.
I hate to sound cheesy, but Nacho, when you're at home, I know you watch wrestling with your brother.
Mm-hmm.
When the QR code pops up, how are you guys acting?
Oh, we missed the rest of the match.
Because you're doing everything possible to pause it, rewind it if you can, or right? And if someone is running to the kitchen or gone to the bathroom or anything, you're going crazy yelling for that person, right? That's exactly how me and my sons are. which is exactly how every single wrestling fan that's watching WWE is doing on Mondays, Tuesdays, Fridays, Wednesdays, now a Thursday, going crazy. It's a family thing where you can get it together. So, to your point that you made earlier, I hope that when he makes his return, that we still get QR codes of what he's up to.
Yeah.
And Nacho, I don't want to see Uncle Howdy when he makes his return. I don't want to see him every week.
Yeah.
I want this to be very special. And I think Bo is doing an amazing job. I think Hunter's doing an amazing job. Whoever the writers are doing this, this is really, really good, Nacho. I'm enjoying this. What are your thoughts, man?
I am too. I'm thinking if they have something happen with Howdy at Saudi, I almost don't want it to be him because I feel like that would overshadow the entire event.
Yeah.
As well. So I'm, like you said, making it more special. I almost want it to be where he sends out his family members to do business, and then once something becomes unmanageable for them, that's when he steps in, and that's when he makes himself known. And the whole rest of the time, he's this backstage persona putting out these QR codes, these little messages to people, and it's real when he shows up at that point. Maybe at the Rumble or Mania or something.
So are we to believe that there's 6 members?
I think that's at least what everybody is saying right now, based on some clue that came out.
Okay, so would you send them out 1 week? One one is shown. The next week another one is shown. The next week another one is shown. Never all together, just different weeks. A newer one. Not that they wrestle. That they just show up. The camera shows them, and the announcers say, "Wait a minute, isn't that so and so? Wait a minute, why? What isn't that Dexter Loomis? Wow, why does he look like that? What I'm saying is, if you show one periodically throughout the weeks, that takes us. If there's 6 members, that takes us to 6 weeks before Uncle Howdy is seen.
It could be cool.
It builds up a lot.
They could also be the ones with the QR codes each week.
Yeah, and then
and they're holding it.
And can you imagine where on that last week where Uncle Howdy debuts, each one of them come out, and then the last one is Uncle Howdy.
That'd be pretty sick.
This is really really cool. This is really cool, and I'm enjoying every bit of it. Well, I do want to say though, as far as the King and Queen in Jeddah, I believe, Nacho, I don't want to sound harsh, but I believe that it's a throwaway Premier Live event. I think it's due to the contract that they have over there in Saudi and doing the shows. I don't think anything major is going to be taking place out there. I do think it's a solid show. I mean, you're going to get a king and a queen crowned over there in Jeddah. And we could be completely wrong about this, because last month, boy, was that crowd in France. It's the one show that I would do anything to be there, because they were popping. But the difference is we've seen this Saudi crowd before, and it's nowhere near that. Nowhere near that. And France was by far the best wrestling crowd I've ever seen. And in 2023 and 2024, I think it's safe to say that the 2 best crowds were France #1, Puerto Rico #2. Those crowds, those arenas were crazy lit. And the whole AJ Styles, them chanting through AJ Styles, Jey Uso with all the lights going out and them singing his song. It was so amazing, man. The crowd was so amazing. So I don't think we know that Saudi Arabia is not like that. They're a little bit more reserved. So I don't think this is one of those events that's going to linger in our memories for a long time. But I do hope that it's a solid show.
Yeah, and it's earlier too, so you don't have to stay up as late to watch it.
Yeah,
1 p.m.
and plus, you got UFC later on that night, UFC 302. Graduations happening during, in the morning. The Saturdays, in the summertime, WWE knows it's busy. They know that they have a lot of kids graduating. A lot of people won't be able to watch shows. They know that UFC is throwing on an event the same night, and it has a really good card. That UFC card is very, very stacked. So there's going to be a lot of people doing those things. So I think WWE is going to have a nice crowd. In a sense, they're always going to pack the place. But I really think it's one of those. Let's give them big stars, but it's like we'll treat it like a Monday Night Raw with a main event and a crowning of the King in the Ring. But other than that, man,
just enough to beat out AEW.
What's that?
Just enough to beat out AEW on Sunday.
Hey, Nacho, we got to eventually talk about AEW. I mean, we
can talk about it.
Yeah. We eventually got to talk about AEW. But I'm going to be honest with you, man. AEW is not doing anything for me, man. Right now, it's 8:00 on a Wednesday. And you know what that means? AEW's on, and I'm in no hurry to run and watch it. As a matter of fact, I'm about to watch. I'm more excited to watch the Western Conference Finals of the NBA, which is Game 1 tonight. The Western Conference Finals, Game 1 tonight, than I am AEW. AEW's got to do something, man.
They do.
They got to do something. But let's not end on a negative note. Let's not talk about that. I'm having fun with these QR codes. Uncle Howdy is coming very, 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 very soon. Gunther is going to be your king of the ring. And Nia Jax could be the queen of the ring. Or could it be Valkyria? Sami Zayn, is he going to drop the belt? Or will he retain? Will Brunson Reed finally hold that Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship belt? We will see. We do know one thing for sure. Cody is walking out again. He's walking out, retaining his title. So no questions about that. Nacho, how can everyone follow us that's watching?
Well, if you go to the description on the YouTube channel, you will find all of our social media links. We are the Curtain Call Pod on most platforms. I think on Twitter we're like the CC Pod because it was already taken in some form. So yeah, be sure to look us up on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. We're going to be posting on there. We mostly post on Twitter, just live tweeting as the shows goes on. We love doing these puzzles with the QR codes. So as soon as they drop, whether it be a video or a puzzle or just like an image, if you follow the Curtain Call podcast, they're going to be posted right away, and you're going to be able to find that as soon as the QR code drops. So be sure to give us a follow, turn on notifications, and stay tuned for what's to come with this Uncle Howdy promo.
Absolutely. Well, if there's nothing else, Nacho, I think it's about time that we wrap this up. I had fun doing this. It's been a couple. It's been a while. We know we need to do this more often. Our schedules have been very, very hectic, but we're getting back into the rhythm of things. We'll have everything up. I can guarantee you that we will do a show talking about the aftermath of King of the Ring. So be expecting a show either Sunday or Monday. we would definitely have a show. Even if I got to go to Nacho's house and or wait for him while he gets off work, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it, guys. We got this. We got this. So, like we always do, make sure you like this video, share this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Click on that notification bell. That way you can get up to date whenever we go live, whenever we put up a post or something like that. Make sure you follow us on X. Make sure you follow us on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, everywhere else that we could possibly get on. We are there. We're trying to come up with some new things, and we're going to be doing some new things. So we appreciate all the love and support that everybody always gives us. So for me, my name is the Spanish Fly. That's my boy Nacho. And let's finish it the way we do it. If you got to throw it up and too sweet me, baby, thank you. And remember that here at the Curtain Call Podcast, man, we always kick out at 2 run.